I'm going to share today just based on my experiences. If you like it, great. If you don't, great. It's fine. I'm not attached to it. But life feels very full right now. Like when somebody asks, "How are you?" What is your honest response? Tired, exhausted, overwhelmed. But what we say, fine. Yeah. I now say, life is very full, and we are navigating unexpected waters, or we're navigating unexpected consequences of unconscious actions. And that's it. Feel free to use that if you'd like. It works for me. Okay, so I like to start sometimes with this. Does life feel like that? Yeah, a little chaotic. How does that feel? I'm playing the same strings. There's the pace, the tempo, my to-do list, my production mode. Oh, there's always something. There's always something else. I can't just stop. One of the life lessons what, going through cancer was, what I'm caught in doing, I'm resisting being. This just creates a different experience. There's space between the notes. There's space between the thoughts, between the feelings, between the actions, between the reactions. And it gives us an opportunity to really feel and hear each note. Individual aspect of ourselves, if we see it that way. We're going to come back to that in a moment. Feels so much better. So, some of you may have heard me share, what helps me navigate life, there's a lot that helps you navigate life. But one of the paradigms is to view myself and other people as a harp, with all of these strings representing metaphorically our unique experiences, beliefs, feelings, and the fullness of this instrument creates the fullness of who we are. And with this metaphor, this string on this harp, this low string, and this high string, is one good and one bad? Is this string bad because it's low? No. Is this string good because it's high? Is this, yes. Is this better or worse than that? No, they just have a different feeling. They just have a different part of us. The lowness creates the richness. So when, this could be like the happy place. Let me stay up here in the happy place. I'm like, oh my gosh, but then I don't get the benefit of the richness, of the depth, of the roots of who I am. A couple of years ago, I journaled every day messages from a beautiful system of self-discovery that my husband brought through, called the Origin Methodology. And every day there was a prompt, a gem message that opened me to listen for a question that would arise within me. And then I would answer it. And in that process of journaling, beautiful messages came through. And one of them is, It's my soul's joy of being, J-O-B, joy of being, to be here in physical form, to live, learn, love, and remember we are one within and around us. We are here to live, learn, love, and remember that we are one within and around us. And though we are one within, for me, reflects all of these different aspects that we have within us. And to find harmony, to experience peace. Harmony is literally defined as the pleasing agreement of parts. The pleasing agreement of parts. And we have so many parts or aspects inside of us. And what I'd like to do right now is just play we're going to talk and play, for a few minutes and allow you to settle in, to take a deep breath and explore some of these different aspects of yourself. And I'll just overview some general ideas. You could explore where you were born, the culture you grew up in, your birth order, your education, your physical ability, your hobbies, your social, there's so many. So just take a deep breath and be with yourself for just a few moments right now. One of those parts that brought itself to your awareness. And follow a thread back through different experiences, the people you've met, memories you might have connected to that one thread. Favorite toy. Okay, come on back. Did that open a wide, like, did you feel like, don't bring me back yet? Oh my gosh, there's so much more in there. I'm in it now. Don't bring me back. So the whole purpose of that moment, those moments, was to offer an experience of how full we are. We are so full. And it's not just our experiences that we've had in this particular life. It's the lineage. It's the ancestral line that we carry within the cellular memory of our DNA. That's epigenetics. And one of the other phrases that came through in my journals is, we are the dream of our ancestors, and the memory of our children. We are the dream of our ancestors and the memory of our children. We are here in manifested form on this timeline of connection. And for me, that is such a beautiful moment of awareness, to be fully present as I can, to choose, to change, to live, learn. But learning piece is the kicker. Live, learn, love, and remember we are one within and around us. And why is this so difficult sometimes? It's because neurologically, when we come in, when we're born, our brains are not formed fully. Our brains literally are tuned and pruned based upon our experiences, based upon our environment, our caretakers, our culture. And the pathways that get used, those grow. The pathways that we don't need, they get pruned. My brain is not pruned to speak Chinese or French. I don't need them. It's a waste of energy. My brain needs its energy conservation. The focus of my brain and our brains is to keep us alive. So it does whatever it needs to do with the least amount of energy so that it can keep sustaining us. So to recognize that everybody has unique neurological tuning and pruning based upon the fullness of who we are, that's mind-blowing. Lisa Feldman Barrett is one of the top neurologists. She has a lab at Northwestern. She has amazing interviews, podcasts. She has a book called 7.5 Lessons About the Brain, which I love. She wrote the book, How Emotions Are Made. And what she's showing is that our brains are predictive. Our brains literally are taking sensorial input from the interoception, all the signals that our body is sending to the brain. As our blood, our glucose, our heart rate, all the unconscious signals that our body is sending to the brain internally, and it's taking signals from the external environment. And it's literally saying, metaphorically saying, last time I sensed all this, this is what I did, this is what I felt, this is what I thought. And it is predicting our responses. It's predicting how we're going to think, feel, act, respond. We think we're in control, but it's just like unconscious patterning based on our neurology. And if we come into a space with other people, every single one of you, we bring the fullness of who we are into every moment. We cannot not do that. So here we have all of this fullness inside of us, and we have this neurology that's saying, the last time I felt this, based on all of this history, this is what I did, felt, and how I acted and reacted. No wonder we continue unconscious patterns of behavior. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, why does that keep happening? Neurological. So, going along with this idea of how full we are and how we are sensing, for me, it's all vibrational. Vibrational signaling, sensorial input, vibrational signaling. So this is my favorite part of sharing, because it changed my life when I recognized this. So these tuning forks so everything has a resonant frequency. It's the frequency at which it most naturally resonates, at which it most naturally sings. So people, animals, dogs, plants, the wind, anything that grows and moves can change their frequency. Okay? And a lot of times we experience our frequency change by our moods or our feelings or our emotions, because that's how we feel it. Inanimate objects, like tuning forks, they have what they call free resonance. They are free from any external input because they were created to sing or resonate at that particular frequency. So these tuning forks are 440, A440, so they have the same frequency. So okay, I'll just demonstrate this first and then we'll take it to the next step. Okay, so I'm just going to strike it. So that one's how it sounds by itself. That's how it sounds by itself. It's the same pitch, right? Okay, now watch. Okay, you struck this, it started to vibrate. The sound waves moved through the air and activated this one because it's the same frequency. All right, strike it. Starts to move. The sound waves move through the air and activate. Can I do that again? And activated this one because it's the same frequency. All right. So let's put this into. I'll share this story. I used to drive our boys to school when they were in middle school or whatever. And we used to listen to heavy metal music. Okay? So heavy metal music is not necessarily my choice, but I wanted to be a cool mom. And so I endured it and I listened to it. And then one day I just said, what are they saying? Because I just could not understand what they were saying. And so that one question just lit them up. And because I was feeling this music is very angry and loud and forceful. And it hurt sometimes. It just was not comfortable, right? And plus I didn't understand what they were saying. So that was more frustration on top of it. So one day it's like, I can't deal with this. What are they saying? And then they started to share with me the myths and the legends that these musicians were sharing through this music, and some of the pain and the personal stories that the musicians had gone through. And in that moment, I heard that music as an expression of another human being. And it may sound really weird, but I'm a musician. I started piano when I was 5 and harp when I was 10. And I'm classically trained, and I used to jokingly say, I'm the most musically ignorant musical person you'll ever meet. And what I meant by that is that I can hear a piece of music, or I'll hear the lyrics of the song, and I may know all the lyrics, but I don't connect it necessarily to the musician. And I can play the classical music, but I don't connect it to the musician who wrote it and who shared it. There was this disconnect within me. And it was like this aha moment. It's like, oh my gosh, this music, this heavy metal music was written by another human being. And they're sharing their stories. And I can find something common with them. I can relate to their pain. I can relate to the excitement of an epic story now. And I can admire their musicianship. Heavy metal musicians are phenomenal musicians. So it just changed my perspective. It expanded my perception to hear it as an expression of another human being. Now here's the other piece, and this is how we can use music to help us discover more about ourselves, to discover more of our strengths. Because here's what I feel was happening. Let's imagine this tuning fork represents the frequency of what I perceived as anger, because that's what I was feeling, all right? Here's the anger outside, here's that anger in me. The music, because I feel that every expression brings that which is within us out into the world and sympathetically resonates with those around us. Every expression, how we speak, how we look at each other's eyes. And by the way, as we look at each other's eyes, we actually sync up our brain waves and release the oxytocin and the serotonin, the dopamines, feel good, connected neurochemicals. So anger is probably one of my low strings because I wasn't comfortable with it. I never felt safe expressing anger. I didn't have the skills to deal with anger or conflict. But when I felt that heavy metal music, it was so intense. It sympathetically resonated that anger within me, so that I could then feel it, turn the mirror, recognize it, and embrace that aspect of myself. And that also made the music more tolerable. This is how we build tolerance and empathy through music. So sympathetic resonance. So now what happens is, because I turn the mirror and I explore that part of me, okay, we all know that this is the same frequency as this. That was the anger. It could be joy, it could be pain, or whatever the emotion is that you want. So this right here is a little clip, and I'm going to put it over this tuning fork. And what this does, it changes the pitch. It still rings, okay? But it doesn't sympathetically resonate with that frequency of anger. I know, this is really cool, right? I used to jokingly say, if we understood the concept of resonance, sympathetic resonance, force resonance, and entrainment, we could have world peace. But that would take a whole lot of personal work. Anyway, so this is my work. This is me taking responsibility, turn the mirror. What's yet to be discovered? I don't have to be afraid of what I'm feeling. Because from this perspective, it's just another string. It's just another aspect of myself that's connected to the fullness of who I am, somewhere in that line of experiences. There was something that happened, and part of me got really scared, got really angry, and my brain got hooked up that way. It created that pathway. Oh, we're not gonna, I don't have the skills. This is gonna be the neural pathway now. Whenever we have this sensorial input, this is the pathway. I'm not gonna deal with it. We don't have the skills. Okay, we're gonna just forget about it because it takes too much energy. Okay? So it's biological, it's neurological, it's vibrational, and I feel it now. I'm a person who cut off feelings because they were so painful. I don't know if you remember Bridget Kosser.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she's my dear soul sister. I remember one time she's sitting in my living room and she's the feel-good person, the waker-upper, right? Yeah. She's like, Amy, you gotta feel this. I was like, nope, I did all my feeling in Florida. Nope, done. I'm done. Cut it off. I just didn't have the skill set. And I will tell you, this last year, for me, I have developed so many skills dealing with and taking responsibility for and exploring and learning more of my strengths. And for me, that's radical compassion, radical self-compassion. That's why the phrase today is compassion grows from within, as we lovingly embrace all aspects of ourselves. And I will never be able to embrace the fullness of who I am. We're too full. I can't discover all of it. But I can be present in the moment to the best of my ability. And I still have a lot to do. Just recently somebody told me I was really mean. And they were right. Because what I was doing was mean. I didn't intend to. But that part of me that still didn't have the skills to deal with all the input was happening, I just revert back to an unconscious pattern. And I can be okay with that. And I can be compassionate with that part of myself. And I can turn the mirror and I can have a conversation with myself and explore why, what's the neurology there, what's the pattern, what's the hookup, what's the space that sympathetically resonated in that moment. And then I do my best to change the frequency so it doesn't activate anymore. And for me, that's what living, learning, loving, and remembering the fullness of who we are within and around us. Because everybody brings their fullness into every moment. We cannot not do that. And I'm sure we all have different aspects that will sympathetically resonate, that will activate. We're all mirrors for each other. If we are able to slow down and feel safe in the spaces between the notes, in the spaces between the thoughts and the feelings and the actions and the reactions, and love ourselves fully, because that's not a bad string, and that's not a good one. They just are, and they're different. And so from this paradigm and perspective of this vibrational language, they're high, they're low, they're different, they resonate, they don't resonate. It helps to dissolve some of the judgment. And in my experience, my judgments were based on fears. And one of the other life lessons I've learned in my cancer journey is judgments and assumptions restrict possibilities. Judgments and assumptions restrict possibilities. And another life lesson is a shift in belief expands perceptions and alters the experience. A shift in belief expands perceptions and alters the experience.